Going for 2 War Rooms, Scott Fishbowl live mock draft for the 111, and I brought on Shane Manilla at shaneistheworst. How you doing, Shane?
I'm freaking super, man. I was excited to learn today that the Scott Fishbowl kicks off tomorrow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it kind of just snuck up on everybody this year.
Yeah, I think obviously not having any real football other than Zoom sessions that we've been hearing about really is it's really screwed up our circadian rhythms, like its sleep patterns. I think it's screwed up our SFB rhythms and our fantasy football rhythms. Like before we know it, the season's just going to be upon us, or more likely getting canceled. But before you know it, something's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have news at some point or another.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything, it just snuck up on us. And I don't ever remember it starting on Monday, even though it probably did. It's always just one of those things. But, so what division you in?
I am a Thundercat hoe.
Awesome.
There's no comma after the Thundercat. I don't want you to think I called you a hoe. Part of the Thundercats.
Won't be the first or last.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you're a dude and people are like, "You're a hoe," and you're like, "What?" Yeah, I'm in a Thundercats, man. Originally, I had picked DC characters, I think, because I'm just a DC stand for like Batman and Superman, obviously. But then, someone tweeted out something about the Thundercats, and I was like, "Yeah," because I was going in between the two of them, and I'm like, "Dude, I loved that cartoon as a kid. Like, I have to be a Thundercat." Dude, it was a great cartoon. I wish they would have worn pants. They seemed like they needed to wear pants.
As the 80s and 90s, nobody wore pants. I think we have a garage door going up, guys. But, yeah. Well,
yeah, we had a garage door going up.
So, but yeah, nobody wore pants in the 90s.
No, but maybe they should have. I think that was the 80s, though, wasn't it?
80s?
We're old.
Yeah.
Giant Thundercats fan. So I saw people tweeting about it, and the people that were tweeting about it were people I liked, and I was like, let me get it. And the 111 was still open, so I said, yeah, let me get in there and try to get the 111, switched it up, and I was lucky enough to get added to it.
Yeah, we got back-to-back people picking from that division tonight then.
I'm sorry?
I said we got back-to-back picking from that division tonight with you and Jeff, so.
Oh, cool. Nice. We are the Thundercats. We're probably the coolest division. I don't know that there's really a doubt about that, and we were the coolest show. So what can you do? And the coolest people. I mean, I'm in it, so there's that. You know what I mean?
I mean, it could be the Transformers. It's cooler, but all right.
Transformers, yeah. I'm a little disappointed Scott didn't roll out a GoBots division. That would have been fun to see if anyone would have selected that on purpose.
Dude, that would have been kind of awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm the 111 in the Thundercats. We also have Peter Howard in our division. I have no idea where he's picking because I don't know what he says most of the time.
Yeah, he's super smart.
Yeah, he is very, very smart. I know he seems very mean to people on Twitter. I don't think he means to be. I think he's just one of those super smart people that can't help it. Like he's like above us.
Not on purpose. He's just smart.
Yeah,
I get it.
Hopefully he doesn't hear this because I don't want to have him hearing me say nice things about him. I definitely don't.
Yeah, he's not. He probably doesn't listen to this. You're good.
Yeah.
But so with the mock so far, we're 10 picks in. Obviously, you're the 11. Started out fairly normal. McCaffrey, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Barkley, Zeke, Kamara, Russ Wilson, Dalvin Cook, Kelsey, and then Joe Mixon.
I mean, I feel like Zeke is overdrafted. Dalvin Cook is overdrafted. Travis Kelsey's overdrafted. And Joe Mixon's overdrafted, in my humble opinion.
The Zeke one kind of threw me off. We said that on the pre-show. Why do you have Zeke lower?
Just for because I'm looking at the points per game from Addison Hayes' sheet that he was selling for charity. It was like $1. And if you haven't bought that, go buy one. It's $1, dude. Not you specifically, all the dude and dudettes listening. Zeke had 19.7 points per game last year. In SFB scoring puts him down at about, I know people don't really want to hear anyone count on air. Fine. So we'll just say around the 13th highest score.
Okay.
And honestly, at that spot, I feel like you could have gone another couple different ways, but whatever. Look, I don't want to trash anyone's trade, because as I learned last year, when I had my best year, is you don't really have to adhere to specific norms in the Scott Fish Bowl, and you really don't need to. Well, I'd say practice before the Scott Fish Bowl, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, and if you haven't yet, by the time you hear this, it's too late.
Yeah. By the time you're reading this, it is too late.
So who's a couple guys you're considering now?
So here's the problem. I'm thinking about taking probably guys like.
Oh, you're muted.
I'm looking at Wentz because of the quarterback scoring. It sets up well for him. You want quarterbacks that have a high completion percentage, throw a lot of touchdowns, obviously, not many interceptions, and don't take sacks. And that's Wentz. He does fumble the ball a bit much, which is a little disconcerting. But even in this scoring last year, he would have done fairly well. He would have been below Zeke. But if you look at the weapons that he had last year, that's probably why scoring wouldn't have been as good. And apparently no one notices that I'm doing a podcast, which is weird because I'm actually sitting right in front of them. Anyway, sorry.
All good.
Or Kittle is really – George Kittle is really like Shane, take me here. With the scoring set up in the Scott Fish Bowl, you get the additional half point for receptions for tight ends, as well as an additional half point for first downs. Nothing's really changed for George Kittle. He's going to be the primary receiving option out of for San Francisco. They did, add Brandon Ayuk, but then they lost Deebo Samuels for however long he's going to be out. And the third guy in consideration is Miles Sanders, because I think he's going to be the next Alvin Kamara. But if I draft Sanders here, I'm pretty sure they'll throw me out of the league because they'll say that it's because I'm a Miles Sanders stan. But also, I pretty much know that if I take Kittle here, well, obviously, I'm going to have my choice of either Sanders or Wentz on the way back. I don't know that Kittle's going to make it through, so I'm going to go with Kittle right here. George Kittle.
I like it.
And I would have personally taken him over Travis Kelce for what it's worth.
Yeah, I probably would too. He's down to get a lot of volume. And I know because it's Jeff picking behind you, both of those guys who you mentioned. Yeah, and with Jeff picking behind you, both those guys you mentioned will be there.
Yeah, well, that's good. So, I mean, there's one more tight end that's on my my wish list after this, and I'll share that with him. There's always going Kittle, Mark Andrews. Now, Mark Andrews doesn't have the volume, or he didn't have the volume at least, but with Hayden Hurst gone, there's a chance that he's on the field even more. He's super efficient, high yards per catch. Lamar really likes him. Like, just thinking about going Kittle and Mark Andrews back to back is kind of making me feel a little special inside. But then you have to take into account the quarterback scoring, and do I want to risk that I'm basically duty bound to take quarterbacks at the next two picks after that, or at least one, or wait and get real dangerous with it and end up getting a guy that maybe has a low completion percentage rate and maybe throws a lot of interceptions towards the end of it. I don't know. I mean, it's -4 points for a pass interception thrown. That's pretty steep. Jameis Winston, I haven't actually looked at the math, so I'm just going to make this number up, would have scored negative 387 points last year in this scoring, I think.
He dropped 22 spots, I want to say. From third down, 26 for quarterback scoring. Just for quarterbacks, he dropped like 20-some spots.
Yeah.
The Mark Andrews thing, man. So I'm a huge Mark Andrews fan. I'm pretty sure I started all hype on him last year. But man, him in a second, something I've heard a few times, and it scares me.
Yeah, what I learned last year too in this is fortune favors the bold. And I hate to use a cliche, but I did, and it's a good cliche though, because we were talking off air. This is probably, I think, my fourth year doing this, maybe my fifth. I don't really know. It's at least my third or fourth. And the first few years, I was real conservative, I want to say, going, well, I need to account for this, and I want to make sure that I get a guy with a good floor, so that every week, I have that consistency. There's no such thing as consistency in fantasy football. You got to go balls to the wall. Look, I made the playoffs last year. I made it to I think I got knocked out right before that finals, when it would have been, the final 10 or whatever, compete against each other. So I think I got knocked out like the week before that. And I just, I went balls to the wall. I went with Kyler Murray. I went with Will Fuller. You know what I mean? Just guys like that, Evan Ingram, Noah Fant. Just guys that, the upside was there, and I thought that, they could smash. And that's Mark Andrews is along that vein, even though, he's not going to be putting up 170-yard receiving games like Will Fuller is able to do. But those first down receptions and just that bonus in general for him.
It is huge red zone target for Lamar. Yeah,
and that's the thing. But again, it's all right. The only concern is what's that going to look like for a quarterback for me, because it's not like it's a third-round reversal or anything, and I'm going to have to wait until 3:11 if I know how to read correctly, which there's no guarantees. Do I want to wait till 3:11 for a quarterback? I'm guessing guys like Baker Mayfield might be available. Maybe. I don't know.
Baker had 3 games last year with negative points.
Yeah, and look, I think a lot of that had to do with Freddie Kitchens, but Jarvis Landry isn't going to be there to start the year either, probably. I don't know. We'll see how brave I am tomorrow. I like being bold because, look, I'd rather lose just going all out than lose being conservative and going, oh, well, I wish I would have done this. Like, at least if I lose because I went too far to the extreme, I can live with that. So there's a good chance I might take a guy like Mark Andrews if he's on the board still. And I guess I've talked myself into my it's Mark Andrews, Miles Sanders, then Carson Wentz.
In that order?
Wentz might fall because he doesn't get the respect he deserves in fantasy football. So there's always that.
None. It's crazy. He's freaking good.
And, I might jump into the chat and just shit talk him for like a day and a half just to make him go back. Like, oh, well, he's always injured. That Carson Wentz, boy, I tell you, can't stay on the field. Just throw that out there for no reason whatsoever.
He could be there. He could be there in the third. Like, just from doing these and talking to people, he hasn't been mentioned yet.
I should actually look at the mocks that I'm in. And we talked about that, whereas, I did discuss, I've done mocks before every year, but I actually paid attention to them and tried to figure out what my team would look like. This year I'm just doing mocks and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, one mock, I apparently drafted like my 6th tight end in 9 rounds. Because I'm not paying attention at all. I'm just like, who's the best player on the board? That's who I'm taking. It's kind of liberating after playing Dynasty all these years to not even really give a shit about roster construction, even though I know you have to a little bit. I don't know what the original point was. I started on a tangent. Oh, Wentz might be there at 3:11. So I might, So I'm going to have to actually look at the mocks, I think, that I've done, because I've done like 5 or 6, I think, and I should see if maybe Wentz has been there or not. And if he has, you know what? That's the only homework I'm going to do. I'm going to see if Wentz will be there for me in the third, or if not him, similar quarterbacks that I'm keen on. I said keen, like an old person that I'm into.
Yeah. So at least it was just the garage today making noise.
Yeah, no, this is I'm gonna say it's me. I got kids running by. You should have just blamed me. It's my dog. So my garage is going up. My children have been getting yelled at by their mother. Dogs have been going crazy. I'm literally the worst guest of all time.
My dog shows up on 70% of our podcasts. It's cool.
Yeah, I know.
That was just him angry. Normally he just doesn't like Jeff's voice.
I do. It's funny, as I was just listening before I got on with you, I was actually listening to your episode with the Monday Mommy. I didn't get as far as I'd like. I'm only about 17 minutes in, so I got a little bit of time to go. But maybe before I jump on the podathon tonight, I'll try to squeeze some in too.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a good episode. But yeah, strategy-wise, I like the bold thing. I think I'm doing that this year. No one's really talked about that, but you really have to because everybody's so chalk a lot of times.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's how many teams competing?
1,200?
Yeah. So if we all go safe, we're all going to go 500? You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not going to be the guy that goes safe that wins this. At least I don't think it will be. It's just like when you play, I have no idea. I'm terrible at DFS, so I won't even use that analogy. I just think it's the people that take chances and hit on those chances. Some of those chances or enough of those chances are going to be the person that wins this. Because frankly, look, there's no difference from me from finishing 1,200 to second. You know, I don't remember who finished second last year. I don't remember who finished second the year before, but I remember Gary won it last year, and I remember Stompy won it the year before that. Not a clue who went who was at the bottom. No idea who was second. So it's all or nothing. Who cares?
100%. Yeah. So you kind of mentioned you going probably best player available majority of the time through. You think?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure towards the bottom of the draft is when I start doing things like, hey, let me go get my third quarterback, or let me go get this tight end that I think could smash this year, a guy like maybe Dawson Knox, or Ian Thomas, yeah, Thomas, and backup running backs that would get a full complement of work. If something were to happen. So that's where, later in the draft, I might grab a guy like Boston Scott. Because, if anything were to happen to Miles Sanders, the decks are cleared for Scott to go absolutely bananas because there's no one else there except for Elijah Holyfield and Corey Clement. So yeah, I'll fill up on the tight ends because of the scoring. And, every year there's at least one or two tight ends that have a good stretch throughout the season. Like last year, it was Ryan Griffith. He knows his last name. Where, he had a really good run there and you were like, oh, this guy's useful. Maybe that's Chris Herndon this year. A lot of people have forgotten.
I love Chris Herndon.
I mean, there's been
never does it for me, but love Chris Herndon.
There people put out, there's a bunch of the analytics guys. They're a lot smarter than me that have put out some encouraging stuff about him, his yards per target and things like that during his rookie season were really high and things like that. And he looked really good. And his only competition is Ryan, whatever his last name is. And he jacked up his hip at the end of the last year. I think it was his hip. Whatever injury he had, it was pretty severe.
Yeah.
So that's a guy, look, I'll load up on tight ends. There's no chance that I don't walk out of this draft with less than 6 tight ends.
You got a late round guy that you want to get no matter what? That guy?
I don't know how late, and I'm a terrible guest. I should have looked that up. Yeah, but I mean, just I'll just say archetype is going to be tight ends. Not any of the rookies because this is not a good rookie tight end class. It's not like last year when you could grab Noah Fant or TJ Hawkinson. But if TJ Hawkinson for some reason falls because people forgot what he was coming out of college, grab him. Really I'd say the archetype is just load up on athletic tight ends, pass catching tight ends, obviously not like this guy's an excellent blocker. Who cares about that? We don't. Maybe a Caden Smith because Evan Ingram hasn't shown that he can stay healthy. Maybe a Thad Moss because there's absolutely no one else on the Washington football team's tight end room. It's literally just him. The Zoom session is him and a coach. And so I think he'll get the starting kick. And
he's free.
I mean, and that's the thing is these late round guys, these late round tight ends, they talk about this in the footballers all the time, where it's, all right, well, I'll wait a couple weeks. And if, something pops, it pops. If it doesn't pop, well, then they're gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Look, that's a fun thing about, the Scott Fishbowl too, is we have waivers. So it's not like a typical, you're setting lineups. It's not best ball at all. So you're setting lineups and you have waivers and look, there's guys you're going to be able to pick up off waivers. Just make sure you're putting them in. And you'll find someone out there. You will find that special someone to add to your roster. I promise. Maybe. I don't know.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Cool. Any last minute Scott Fishbowl advice for anybody?
Man, have fun. I like the game itself, whatever. You win, great. Good for you. If you win first, there's only going to be one person that wins out of however many there are in this. I don't even know. Just take advantage of being in the threads, interacting with people you haven't spoken to before, or even if you've spoken to them before, to get them to know them a little better. Savor it, man. Like I every year people get all pissy about the clock. Oh, his average wait time is 6 hours. Like, come on, who cares? It's different. I understand if someone times out. That's a whole different thing. But if someone wants to take a couple hours, who gives a shit? Enjoy it. Savor it. Like, you only get one of these a year.
Yeah. What else do we have to do?
Exactly. Like, what, the football season isn't even supposed to start until September if it starts. Just have fun. Like, dude, life's too short. Stop rushing everything. That's just in general, though. I hate those people in the thing like, oh, he's taking forever to draft. Like, has he timed out? No. Then who gives a shit? I don't care. If he timed out on back-to-back picks, all right, well, then there's a problem. Like, maybe call the police. Like, make sure you're doing a wellness check. But other than that, man, just have fun. It's a good time. Just, find a reason to donate to charity. It's all for fun, basically. It's all... Look, Scott set up a beautiful thing. Don't ruin it by being a jerk off.
Love it. Cool. So, thanks for coming on. Plug some stuff. What do you got for me? Plug stuff.
Yeah, whatever. I'm on the Dynasty Trades HQ podcast with my best buds. We're the three best buds in the world. Michael Sipes, Jeremy Browen. They also have Twitter handles that I always screw up. Just look them up. I probably tweeted at them. Or look up Dynasty Trades HQ handle. They're in there. Right for DLF, really nothing to plug there. If you see I wrote something, read it, maybe. Yeah. Comment. I like comments. Comments are fun. Super Flexible. I'm jumping on Super Flexible once a month now, where we go over some trash Dynasty trades. That's fun. Me and Scott Connor, my dude, we just started some video thing on DLF. I'm not really sure how what happens with it. We put it up earlier. They took it down because it wasn't ready for public consumption. So whenever I know anything at all about that, I'll tweet that out. And then lastly, just go give some money to charity, dude. $5, anything really. Find one cause that you believe in and just go give them some money, because charities need people, but what they really need from us is some money, and every little bit counts. So that's what I'll plug.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I'm sure we'll see you on Gun for Two's guest spot again here, probably sooner rather than later.
I hope so.
Absolutely. And for everybody, I'll catch you on the next pick.